Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm here with Mishka Willis, my fellow parenting coach, friend, and also just colleague in life. So, Mishka, welcome. Thanks for having me here today with you.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. It's really exciting. I'm just excited about everything that's going on with the summit, and it's super nice
Yeah.
to connect.
Yeah, I want to talk to you a little bit about self-compassion. So Mishka and I went through the training that Dr. Laura offers for parenting coaches, and so we're both peaceful parenting coaches, and we've studied kind of under the umbrella of interpersonal neurobiology and peaceful parenting, and I know that's kind of Mishka's interest as well, like learning about the nervous system and how we can kind of learn to self-regulate and co-regulate with our children for more peaceful parenting and more conscious, gentle parenting. So the summit coming up, it's actually live already, starting today. Day one is live, and we have 7 days of the summit. We have 50 speakers lined up with great topics ranging from all within the context of kind of self-compassionate and compassion toward yourself. But it really kind of ranges from from kind of the peaceful parenting approach to conscious parenting to just the scientific approach to self-compassion and kind of where the science comes from in terms of the research. Dr. Kristen Neff is the pioneer in self-compassion, and we're trying to bring this concept into the kind of parenting world. And so having kind of this blend of experts in one platform talking about how our neurobiology is linked to parenting. Our neurobiology as parents is linked to how we parent our kids. Is something we wanted to bring forward. So, Mishka, what would you say is kind of important about compassion for the parent? As we talk about self-regulation and co-regulation and self-compassion, of course.
Yeah, well, I mean, in my view, self-compassion is really the basic foundation for peaceful parenting and respectful parenting, really anything. Because if we don't have that piece, it's really easy to fall into feeling guilty, feeling more stress, feeling we should be doing better or that we're a bad parent, these
Mm-hmm.
things. And those come out when we're trying to parent our kids, because then when our kids are doing something that we don't want them to do, then we can feel that like anxiety and pressure and feel like it's our fault. And it doesn't lend itself to us having a calm and grounded and present state with our kids. And
Mm-hmm.
then they
Mm-hmm.
also feel that, my mom's stressed out or they're anxious and they're related to parenting. So then they feel this like, oh, I must be doing something wrong
Mm-hmm.
because my mom is upset, stressed. Whereas if the parent or caregiver can really try to embody that feeling of it's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. I mean, I always say world's okayest mom. That's like my title. It's like
Uh-huh.
in my
Uh-huh.
house.
Love that.
And yeah, world's okayest mom. And I always say like that's really what you're after, because I mean the heart of the matter of parenting is often in the repair anyway. And
Uh-huh.
so if you don't have make mistakes and things, then you never get to the repair anyway. And everyone's just trying to be perfect. And then they're, like anxious and then it's just not working, right? Whereas if you can feel that, I guess like self-compassion, compassion for others, compassion for the world, compassion for different groups, if you can feel that and embody it and know what that's like, then you're able to lend that compassion to your kids, to others, and then they can feel it. And then I always come back to oxytocin, because when you're able to get in that state, um, and you're like in your ventral vagal state, so when you're like feeling grounded, feeling good, and your kids are feeling grounded and feeling good, even if there's a mistake, they can
Mm-hmm.
learn
Mm-hmm.
to, oh, I made a mistake, but it's not a big deal. So I have
Mm-hmm.
kids that are like, yeah, I made a mistake, but it's just a mistake, it doesn't matter, so they
Mm-hmm.
try to do their best. But if they, instead of uh, freaking out because they don't know how to do something, they're okay with asking for help because they know that that's part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I kind of went in a big circle, but But with, I
Yeah.
wanted to come back to oxytocin just because that to me is the magic. So when parents can feel that self-compassion and they can offer the compassion to their kids, the kids respond so well to it, and then they feel good. And then they're so forgiving that even if we're just at the beginning of our peaceful parenting, process, when we can just start with self-compassion, then the kids feel that,
Mhm.
and then they give us the oxytocin because they feel it. And then we have this toehold on peaceful parenting because then the oxytocin is flowing to us and we're feeling it, and then the oxytocin is flowing to them. So then we're not blocked. And
Mhm.
so to me,
Mhm.
like, that's why self-compassion is kind of the base for all of this.
I love that. You're really highlighting how our children, like, yeah, I love that, that you're highlighting how our kids, if we don't kind of recenter, they tend to take it like they're so egocentric, right? Because it's developmentally appropriate for them to be egocentric, and they think that the world revolves around them. And so when a parent is anxious or worried or not being self-compassionate, the child thinks that that's because of them. Like their natural
Yep.
state is to worry about like the world, it spins around me, right? Like they haven't have that perspective yet because it's developmentally appropriate for them. And so it's so important for parents to kind of ground themselves regularly. Otherwise, their children assume that the parents' feelings are their fault if it's a challenging emotion, right?
Definitely. Definitely. And I've seen, like, with families where, like, learning a bit of that and understanding that, helping themselves is really helping their kids, and that
Hmm.
helping, learning peaceful parenting or learning like these methods, it helps their kids, it helps them, it helps their kids. But then, the oxytocin coming back to them, it really, like, in my mind, really heals their childhood trauma or their childhood,
Hmm.
challenges that they faced. And so because they're getting that, they're sort of healing as they're providing for their children like what they wanted to have. So it just all comes back to that. And
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I wanted
it's
to
like I said,
highlight
the
because
magic. Yeah.
yeah, I
Go
love it.
ahead.
Yeah. I mean, oxytocin does feel like magic because it's like a feel good hormone, right? It's like it's something wonderful we can tap into with intention and strategy and mindfulness if we know like how it works, right? If we understand the neurobiology. And I know you trained with under Dan Siegel with interpersonal neurobiology, and you're very fond of polyvagal theory. And so I'd love for you to incorporate some of that in your feedback insight here as well. But I also wanted to touch on like, how difficult it is to have self-compassion when maybe you're like a single parent with more than one child, or even just one child, or even like with neurodiversity, just like having extra stress in your life, where it's hard to be a parent. It's hard to be a parent anyway, but without a village consistently and without additional adult hands-on support, what can any like words of kind of advice in terms of self-compassion for single parents or parents of neurodiverse children or parents that are neurodiverse themselves? Any thoughts around that?
Yes, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about that. Um, I mean, I'll say that, you know, I'm a solo mom. I have 3 kids by myself. They are 2 years old, 8 years old, and 13 years old, and they're all neurodiverse. And what I have found is that it's really the micro moments that
Mhm.
carry a lot of weight. So it's easy to get wrapped up in like, oh, I can't be self-compassionate because I don't have enough time and I'm too stressed out. But that mindfulness in tiny little micro doses do make a difference. So, like for myself, I have some simple methods that I use. Like every time I wash my hands, for instance, because we all wash our hands multiple times a day, and so that's
Mhm.
one space that I give myself to really be mindful and like give myself self compassion and think about like where I'm at and how things are going and like what do I need in this moment. Things like
Mhm.
that I
Mhm.
highly recommend for like if you're feeling super stressed and super like under resourced, I call it. And then
Mhm.
the other thing is to really take a few minutes to kind of identify where you might be able to get a little bit of um, respite from another person. So, is there a person that your kids like to FaceTime with that could FaceTime for like 5 minutes? Or is there someone who you would like be okay with them, swinging by a neighbor that could swing by and take them, while they walk the dog or something like that. Just these little micro moments that give you, because I always say it's not that I need a babysitter for a night. I don't, I mean, that sounds nice. And I do like that occasionally, but it's really those times for the micro moments. And when I can space those through my day, even 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, I can really leverage those few minutes here and there to like recenter and reset my own body budget, which I'll use Mona Delahook's, Dr. Mona's verbiage of her term of body budget. Actually, I think maybe it was Lori DeSaltis. I can't remember who originated with the term, but that feeling of, checking in with what you need and where you're at and what might be helpful for you, those kinds of things. But yes, I can, with neurodiverse kids and single parenting, it can be a lot. And I know a lot of parents are struggling with that. And you're doing a great job.
Yeah. And I think there's that common humanity, right? Like with self-compassion, there's kind of the three elements through the research that came out. It's the mindfulness, the common humanity, and the kindness. And I think parents that are single parenting or have neurodiverse children or just children that are just, it's just a little extra like stress or extra work to kind of get cooperation or alignment, whatever it may be. Sometimes they can feel so alone and it's like, this only happens to me, it's only my kids or it's only me, and it can feel so isolating sometimes, I think. And just to hear from more people around, like, in the peaceful parenting, kind of gentle parenting community that in fact, you're not alone. Like, that's why we have summits like these and resources in these groups on Facebook and just communities, because there's a lot of other people that feel exactly like this. They feel alone. And when we gather in this setting, in this group setting, we realize, hey, in fact, I guess we're not so alone. And that actually gives us more resources for compassion for ourselves, because we see with evidence that other people have felt like this before too,
Definitely. I mean, it's one thing I love about these parenting summits and, this one in particular being, focused on self-compassion and parenting, because that's so much the foundation really, because we can't be like, it's really hard to offer that compassion to someone else if we haven't experienced it for ourselves, or if we're not experiencing it, regularly. And then to have camaraderie around it and talk about this. I mean, the Surgeon General just put out a thing recently, a paper, and I think there might have been a podcast study they did, I'm not sure, on how loneliness and lack of community is really challenging people right now, and parents. And so that it's definitely true that this is needed and it's welcomed. And it's just, I can't wait to hear all the interviews and be in the Facebook group with all of you too.
Yeah, I'm excited. And so, so the summit started today and we have 7 days of content, 50 speakers. And I know it's a lot for busy parents. For any parent, it would be. And so just know that my intent was just really put information out there. You can consume it at your, extra time as you have time. And really just to give you kind of access to this information through a free summit, because I think there's so much wisdom and expertise and guidance with the speakers that are part of the summit that I really wanted to bring that out to the world. And so if people want to purchase the VIP pass, it's also available with immediate and ongoing access. You can have ongoing access to the content. So that's also available. But yeah, we go through Sunday. So we have 7 speakers a day on most days. And so hopefully people can tune in and, pick and choose kind of from the list of speakers who kind of is your favorite or who you don't want to miss, and tune in and listen.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm excited myself. And I have an offer, if it's okay, for anyone that wants to sign up through my link that I'll post to you and I'm happy to offer a 30-minute session with anyone who wants to talk about self-compassion, their families, and how they might be able to integrate a bit more. So, fun. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. And, Mishka is a great parenting coach. Again, her expertise is really in interpersonal neurobiology, polyvagal, all things peaceful parenting under Dr. Laura Markham's model. And so I know you're in good hands for that session with her. So yeah, thank you for taking the time, Mishka. I really appreciate it. And
Of course.
yeah, I'm excited to share the summit with you and looking forward to hearing your feedback as well about the content.
Thank you, Diana. It's been great to chat. And
Yeah,
yeah, I'll see you there.
sounds good. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye bye.